Hey everyone, and welcome back to my channel. If you are new here, my name is Amina. I always hear the phrase that the early bird catches the worm. We're always told that the most successful people are those that wake up in the morning, that those that start early, sleep early and start their day early. But for some of us, it isn't a choice. It isn't a choice as to whether you're a morning person or you really struggle in the morning. Now, I like to consider myself a morning person. I thrive in the morning. I really enjoy waking up in the morning, even if I don't have to go somewhere or I don't have anything to do. For me, waking up in the morning is simply just a habit that I've built over the past couple of years. You need to set up the day before in a way that promotes healthy sleeping, in a way that ensures that you get a good night's sleep, and then you can wake up in the morning feeling fresh, feeling well rested, and feeling ready to start the day. For this to work, the most important component that we are going to discuss today is sleep. We cannot compromise on sleep. So no matter what you do, whether you want to wake up early, whether you want to sleep earlier, the key thing that has to stay consistent is the amount of sleep that you are getting. I highly recommend you reading the book Why We Sleep by Matthew Walker. I think it's such an amazing, insightful book that talks about the biological aspects of sleep and why it's so important for us as adults. Before we start this video, I want you to write down 3 words for these 3 questions that I'm going to be asking you. Now, you can leave it as the comment down below and you can go back to it at the end of this video or come back to it in a few days' time when you've implemented the tips. Now, can you write down 3 words that describe what your morning routine currently looks like? The second question is, what thoughts do you have in the morning when you wake up? So again, 3 words that describe the thoughts that you might have in the morning when you wake up. The last question is, can you write down 3 words for what your ideal morning looks like? So if you could decide on what your morning would look like, and if you could, tailor your morning, what 3 words would you use to describe that morning? So go for it. Just pause this video, quickly write down those 3 words and restart. In order to become a morning person, you need to be aware of your habits the day before. It's all about changing the predispositions that you have kind of given yourself over time and implemented in your mind as a result of the habits that you've made. Every action that you do in your day-to-day life is a result of habits. So all you have to do is change those habits. And like I said, it's all about persistence and being consistent. So late afternoon, what you want to do is try to avoid napping. Try to find a way of incorporating some sort of physical activity. So that could be maybe going for a long walk, maybe going to the gym, maybe going for a jog, maybe just doing a home workout, but something that promotes healthy well-being and kind of gets your heart rate racing, because essentially what you're doing is you're going to tire yourself out a little bit. You want to tire yourself out a little bit so then when it comes to the evening, you're ready to go to bed, and when your sleep cues arrive, you can sleep on time, as opposed to napping in the early afternoon or kind of just being lazy in the early afternoon, which then will mean that you've kind of rested already, and so your bedtime will be pushed backwards a lot, and so then you can't wake up on time the day after. You also want to plan for the next day. So what is it that you are going to be doing tomorrow? What is it that you have got to look forward to? Because ultimately, if we don't look forward to something, we're not going to wake. What are we waking up for on time? Why do we need to wake up at 9 o'clock in the morning or 8 o'clock or 5 o'clock if we have nothing to do? What is our purpose? And in order to know what the purpose is, you have to plan for it. So there are loads of different ways that you can do this. You can either just write it on a piece of paper, you can write it in your diary, you can kind of take notes on your calendar on your phone, but just to plan a couple of bullet points of what it is that you want to do tomorrow. What is your aim? What is the first thing? What are the goals for your day tomorrow? And then you also want to create a routine that leads you onto the evening, leads you into bedtime. So what is it that you like to do that calms you? Something really calm. It could be to do some journaling, that could be to maybe watch a movie, to speak to a friend, something calming that will mean that you are starting to relax, starting to let your body know that you are getting ready for bed. I personally like to either sit down with a cup of tea with my husband and just kind of have a chat, or watch something on TV, or read a book if I have time, or just something that means that I've sat down and I'm kind of letting myself go a little bit and start to relax. And this is usually around the 6, 7, sort of 8 p.m. time, when I know that I'm about to go to bed in sort of 2 to 3 hours. Something that I also like to do around this time is to set myself some affirmations. So what exactly is it that I want to tell myself and embed in myself that means that I can set myself up for a positive mindset the next day? Now, everything to do with waking up in the morning, if you can do this naturally, that's not a problem. But these tips are for someone who is struggling to become a morning person, is struggling to be that person that can wake up early, and you need that extra reinforcement, that extra sort of positive mindset to tell yourself, I can do it. I can wake up in the morning and I know that I've got this, this and this to look forward to. Now this segment of the video is kindly sponsored by my long-term sponsor Skillshare. So Skillshare is an online learning community for creatives, and they offer thousands of inspiring classes for creative and curious people. So those are lifelong learners, just a bit like me. And they offer a number of classes on topics including productivity, including lifestyle, and including sort of entrepreneurship as well. So a lot of the classes are combined with a video lesson and then a class project. So it might be, for example, a 7-day class where you can follow this class for 7 days, and then by the end of it you've kind of discovered a new skill, or you've learned something new, or you've kind of designed a new project. And they're offering the first 1,000 of my subscribers to click on the link in the description bar for 2 months free of the premium membership. So on the topic of journaling, I came across a video that's all about how to journal and how to write for self-discovery. This class is led by a woman called Yasmin, and she is a writer, speaker, and a self-healing advocate. And what she does talks about how to journal for gratitude and growth. And this is something that you can implement in your evening routine, or even when you wake up in the morning to start your day with a sort of a fresh mindset, positive mindset. I really enjoyed the 6th prompt that she discusses, which is the brain dump. And one thing that I tend to find is when you're struggling to sleep, a lot of the time it's because we have so many things in our mind that we're thinking about, and we struggle to sort of switch off. And so one nice thing that you can do actually before you go to sleep is to just get a piece of paper and just to write down all the things that you're thinking about, and just get it on paper and take it out of your mind. And she talks a bit about this, about brain dumping, and just writing down all of, and dumping, essentially dumping all the information in your head on some paper. And she talks about writing it in terms of a theme, but you can also write it just in terms of sort of what you think you are thinking about. So if you're thinking about work could be your theme, and what are the things that you're thinking about, write it on paper and sort of commit it to paper and put it to the side. So hopefully when you go to sleep, you're sleeping better, which means you'll wake up with a less sort of anxious mind. So like I said, don't forget to click on the link in my description bar for 2 months free subscription with Skillshare. I highly recommend it, and would love for you guys to let me know what classes you've been taking if you have already. If we assume that we want to wake up for 6 a.m. in the morning, then we should be getting into bed between 9 to 10 o'clock, depending on how quickly you think you can fall asleep. So around 9 p.m. I start to wind down and I start to set my evening bedtime routine going. Firstly, try to dim your lights. I tend to switch the lights off that are directly above me. So if I'm in this room, for example, I'll turn the lights off over there and I'll leave this light on over here, just so I don't have direct light in my face. Again, this is all to do with your biological response, because if you have light in your face, what you're doing is telling your body that it's still daytime, and so your mind doesn't quite switch off. And there's something called a circadian rhythm, which essentially is the balance between day and night, and tells your body that it's time to sleep and it's time to be awake. And it's something that, for example, babies are not born with and develop over time as you give them a set sleeping routine of day and night. So if we're messing around with that by having sort of bright lights in our face just before bed, and that also includes phones. So the other thing is to put your phone away a couple of hours, or maybe an hour or half an hour before you plan to go to bed, and do not scroll in bed. I'm guilty of this, and the days that I do this, I find that I sleep a lot less comfortably, and I sleep a lot later, and I wake up a lot later as well. Actually, what the phone does is it messes around with your melatonin levels, which tells your body that you need to sleep. So by having that bright screen in your face, you're essentially telling your body that you are staying awake. It's still daytime, and you're messing around with that schedule a lot. So try to put your phone away, and even if you can't sleep straight away, just count sheep. Just think about something. Just get away from having that screen in your face. A lot of us have this window where we're probably really tired. We can knock out straight away. Our eyes feel heavy, we start to kind of itch our face and scratch our face, and we feel a bit tired, and then we let that window pass because we're watching a movie or messaging a friend, and then when we actually get into bed, we've now missed our sleep window, and so it becomes a lot harder to get back into that sleep schedule. And again, this is something that babies have as well. They have sort of windows of sleep where if you miss it, they become overtired, and I've been experiencing this. If you miss that sleep window, you end up with an overtired child, which means that they have got this cortisol hormonal response, which means they're stressed, and because they're stressed out, they then can't sleep. So it's a very horrible cycle, and that happens to us as well, except we don't cry about it, we just stay awake, and we end up with insomnia, and we end up with a lot of kind of stress a lot of issues, a lot of health problems that are related to sleep. Now, sleep is so important for a number of different things. Sleep has so many benefits that it's so important that we're able to get a good night's sleep in order to ensure that you can wake up in the morning and be that morning person. Now, come to the morning, we've set ourselves up, we've got a good night routine, we've got a good evening routine. We're now there in the morning and we need to wake up. Now, the thing that you need to do is set yourself a time that you want to wake up and stick to it every single day, including the weekends. Now, a lot of people like to kind of lie in on the weekends, which is completely fine. I mean, do what you want to do. But I personally like to stick to the same time every single day. And that means that I don't need an alarm anymore. I can wake up at 6 o'clock, at 7 o'clock in the morning without an alarm, purely because I've conditioned myself to wake up at that time every single day, including the weekends. Now, on the weekends, even if you don't want to get out of bed, by waking up, shaking yourself off a little bit, maybe getting up, having a drink of water, it means that you've woken up. So even if you want to laze around a bit, that's completely fine. You've woken up and you've told your body that this is the time that I wake up every single day. It's all about forming habits. It's all about understanding that habits are so key to tuning the way that your body works. And when you form a habit, it actually takes away the amount of work that you have to do, because once you form that habit, you no longer have to think about it. I don't have to put an alarm on because I formed that habit. And there's so many things that we do, like brushing our teeth, washing our face. We've made that habit part of our being, that we don't have to actually think about it anymore. And that is what you want to do to become a morning person. You want to make it part of your DNA. That means that you don't have to put an alarm on or think about it or take the effort to go to sleep, because naturally that cycle will happen. And when your alarm does go off, don't press snooze, just get up straight away. Again, I find this to be the most effective way of waking up in the morning and feeling good about it. Just wake up straight away. Don't press snooze. Don't allow yourself to get an extra 10, 15, 20 minutes. Just wake up and get the day started. And start it again in a similar way that you would every other day. Brush your teeth, wash your face, have a glass of water, maybe have some fruits, have your breakfast, maybe do some yoga, whatever it is, but just get up and start your day straight away and own your morning. Something that I really like to do is to wake up kind of an hour or two earlier than I have to for work, purely because I know that in that hour or two I can get a lot of stuff done, a lot more productive, and it means that I can go to work and think, actually, you know what, I've done something for myself. I've done something that I like to do, whether it's painting or reading or kind of doing a bit of work apart from my 9-to-5 job. It means that I'm able to do something that I want to do, and I've owned my morning, and then I can go to work, get on with work and come back, and I've done something in the morning that I enjoy. And it means that I'm able to wake up and I want to wake up. I'm not forcing myself to wake up for a job, to get on the train, to do something for someone else. I want to do it, and it makes such a difference to have that intention. Again, when you wake up, try to get yourself some natural light. So if you have blackout curtains, open the curtains up, maybe outside in your balcony, go out in the garden, just get yourself some natural light where you're trying to tell your body, wake up, this is the morning, this is the time that I wake up. And by doing that every single day, again, you're building those habits. Now, it's a lot harder in the winter because at 6 o'clock in the morning it's pitch black outside. So once you've got those habits now, which is ideal because it's summer. In fact, in the winter, what we do is time our heater. So we'll time the central heating to come on an hour before we wake up. So when we do wake up, the house is warm and you want to get up. And there's little things that you can do to help yourself become that morning person, because it's there for everyone. A morning person isn't reserved to those that are genetically predisposed to be a morning person. You can be a morning person very easily. It's all about building the right habits and implementing that into your daily schedule the night before you want to be that morning person. Now, what I want you to do is go back and look at those questions that you answered a couple minutes ago. What were the words that you wrote down for what you see your morning like, what thoughts you have, and what your ideal morning is? And now what I want you to do is, thinking about this video, thinking about things that I've said, can you write down 3 things or even 2 things that you want to implement into your routine for tomorrow? So whatever time it is that you're watching this today, you can make a change. What things can you do to make yourself wake up more fresh, have a better sleep, and to be that morning person that you always have dreamt to be? So what is it? What are the 2 things that you want to do to become that morning person based on the things that I've said today? Leave it in the comments down below so I can see what things you want to do, and then maybe come back tomorrow and let me know how it went. Or maybe come back in a week, try this for a week, come back in a week and let me know whether or not you found it useful. And don't forget to subscribe to my channel to see more from me, and I'll see you guys in my next video. Bye.